Breaking today, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is a Barcelona player, making that move from Arsenal to the Camp Nou. This was quite the soap opera over the last 24 hours, but it has been confirmed that he is making that switch from the Premier League to La Liga. Jules, this was quite the story because it seemed to be at one stage he was just happened to be in Barcelona visiting family, and it looked like it was going to be a repeat of what we saw 9 years ago. However, this time it looks like the deal is going to be done.
Yeah, that's right. So many twists and turns down in this saga, really, because it's been a saga. We knew that on Sunday there were talks between the two clubs for a loan without an obligation to buy. Aubameyang still had 18 months left on his Arsenal contract. And then today, early in the afternoon, we were told that all the talks had broken down and that Aubameyang will stay at Arsenal, despite him not wanting to play for the club anymore and Mikel Arteta not wanting to play him anymore. And then later on in the evening, Joan Laporta and Edu found an agreement, first to let Aubameyang free from his contract at Arsenal without any compensation from Arsenal towards him, and then being able to sign an 18-month deal with Barcelona, taking a huge pay cut in the meantime. And you're right, Aubameyang turning up at the airport was a bit strange. No one from Barcelona expected him there. He said that he was on the family holidays, of course, as a coincidence. But then I guess he was handy there to do his medical and sign the contract.
This makes sense?
Not really, no. As I heard Stevie discussing around the Traore transfer about how the pace and running in behind, the way he likes to play. Aubameyang, for me, different position, but can play wide. It's kind of similar. So therefore, he thrives on that space in behind. And Barcelona, even with a young, inexperienced team, still tend to dominate a lot of the games domestically, certainly against the smaller teams. Look, there's no denying his talent, but it seems Barcelona have a penchant for a bad apple. You know what I mean? Dembélé is a talent, but he's a bit of a bad apple. They're trying to get him out in the wages. They didn't get him out. This guy had some problems at Dortmund. He had some problems at Arsenal, hence the reason he wasn't playing, and he was club captain. He's the luckiest boy alive in a football parlance to get a move to a club of Barcelona's size after not only the way that he's conducted himself for club and country, but the way he's playing.
Yeah.
Not played well either.
Gab, how has this happened, considering every man and his dog that we've had on this show has told me continuously that Barcelona need to move players out before they can bring them in? My math is that they got 2 out in January and brought 4 in.
Well, it's not just about who goes out. It's about, I don't want to get into all the boring accounting, but it's about the importance of their wage mass, as they call it, the amortization plus the wages. So if you move out Coutinho, who makes a lot of money, and you bring in Aubameyang, who, as Jules told us, there's no transfer fee involved. He effectively canceled his contract with Arsenal and is on top of that is taking a pay cut. Then apparently somehow there's a way that you can do it, and throw in Aguero and the other moves that they've made. But I want to give a shout out to Aubameyang because we always criticize players for not backing themselves, for not taking pay cuts for playing time. Whatever you think of this guy, maybe a bad apple or whatever, he could have just sat in his backside in North London and made an enormous amount of money between now and June 2023. He chose to back himself, take less money, and move to Barcelona, which I think isn't something you see all the time.
How much does this enhance Barcelona as a team, Ali?
Well, they're enhanced by the fact that he is a much better option to Luuk de Jong. He is an upgrade. There's no question about Aubameyang's talent, even though he hasn't been playing all that well or hasn't been playing, period. Now, in terms of getting the best out of Aubameyang, well, that is the question. If you're able to do that, and if indeed the player is motivated to be in Barcelona, and somebody please have a conversation with Aubameyang, the people around him, his agent, whoever, sit him down and say, Pierre, buddy, listen, this is the last go around at the big time. This is it, right? It's not going to get better than this. From here on out, it's going to be a slide down. And so therefore, How about for the next 18 months, you show up on time, you do your job, and display your full talent on the field. If he's able to do that, then he will help Barcelona, because again, there's no question that this is an upgrade to whatever they had going on playing as a striker. He's an upgrade to Ferran Jugla, he's an upgrade to Luuk de Jong, he's an upgrade to whatever option you want to put out there, because otherwise you have a big old hole in that 18-yard box of nobody who can finish a chance. Aubameyang can do that.
We should remember that Aubameyang had that great period where he signed the new contract, that bumper contract that Gab mentioned. But I think people will quickly forget that he wasn't initially out the Arsenal team for misdemeanours.
Yeah.
He was out the Arsenal team because he wasn't playing particularly well, and Arteta was under pressure and he was searching for alternatives, which he found, by the way. And then obviously Aubameyang's behaviour was untenable to the squad and to the rules and regulations that he had, and so he left him out. But he could leave him out because he wasn't doing the business anyway. So it's quite weird. Here we have a club in Barcelona. I've talked about how desperate they are. They're signing a guy who, at the end, in Traore, wasn't playing regular at Wolves. He was coming off the bench. He's signing for Barcelona, and they're signing Aubameyang, who wasn't getting a game at Arsenal even before his breaking the Arteta rules and regulations. So once again, and he's the wrong side of 30. Good player, just smacks of desperation again.
You take a look at how things stand. Barcelona, of course, sitting 5th in the table. Would this be enough to push them into a top 4 overall, do you think, Ali?
It better, because this is the reason as to why you're making these moves, and Craig is right. This is desperation. We talked about this in the show yesterday. It's a mercenary move for Barcelona, in that you're trying to get something out of a guy so that you're able to crawl into the top 4. I think in the end it will be good enough. I think Barcelona seems to be getting a little healthier. Mind you, Ansu Fati is now out, but it feels like maybe, and I cannot say this enough, maybe they're somewhat turning a corner, and perhaps this new guys coming in provide this team with something different. They needed something different in the attack, and while it is a desperate move, I think it's a move that was necessary.
24 hours ago, we were talking about the possibility of Dembélé going to PSG, Jules. That seemed to go quite quickly. Then maybe a move to Chelsea was muted, but as it stands, he remains at Barcelona.
Yeah, that's right, which is something that Barca didn't want, because again, like Gab explained, if you let Dembélé go, you free a lot of space in your wage bill, so you can afford another player, especially one with the high wages. In the end, you still did Aubameyang while Dembélé is still there, but it's true that they tried to push Dembélé out as much as they could until tonight. PSG were the contacts yesterday, where PSG was saying, hang on, well, we can have him for free in the summer. Why would we rush everything and try to get him now? Chelsea, I think, was saying similar things. He would rather, I think, coming to the Premier League than maybe go to PSG. I'm not sure he really wants to go back to France, especially with the wages that he's asking for, which is around 20 million euros net a year, and a big commission for his agent, Moussa Sissoko. So we'll have to revisit that in the summer. But I think it was quite interesting to see how much Barca were trying to push him out, and he was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to stay here. And now it's down to him and Xavi really to sort of reconnect in a way and see if Xavi can play him again, and if they can be in that sort of spirit together to be able to use him. Because I think, again, as we've said many times, at his best, or certainly fully fit and with everything that he can bring to this Barca team, I think Dembélé is where you have probably the best to play wide.
What a mess, Frank.
It is, but we all know that it's been a problem. It's been an issue since he signed, because of the amount of the injuries that he had, the inconsistency that he showed to the world, and the ending is going to be like that. Bye-bye, no money for Barcelona, and hopefully another club is going to hire him, and hopefully he's going to get better elsewise. But it's a real disappointment. If it's not a mess, it's a real disappointment, because the talent is definitely here. But as we all judge players, the consistency makes the difference, and that's a lack.
Ali, from the outside looking in, you think, right, OK, I've got 6 months now to the end of this season to prove myself to other suitors that I still got it. Will he have the opportunity to show that, though, under Xavi?
Well, I think now Barcelona has no choice but to play the player and put him out there because they don't have all that many options in the attack. And so if indeed you get the best version of Dembélé because he is showcasing himself to everybody else, he is shopping himself to everybody else, well, if that means that Barcelona is going to benefit for the next 6 months, then so be it. I think you take that and you hope that you can get the very best from the player. Now, it's going to be incredibly frustrating for Barcelona fans and Barcelona as a whole. Then now, all of a sudden, you see Dembélé step over people, getting around people, scoring a goal, doing it with consistency, and you're kind of saying to yourself, one, okay, how come this wasn't happening before? And two, if we thought that this was going to happen, how come we didn't get this guy signed before? Either way, I don't think Barcelona wins, but the one thing that they would benefit from is getting into the top four. And we just established that they're desperate to do whatever it takes in order to get in that sort of position.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.